Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be transported to a place of controversy where you'll laugh and think and possibly learn something. It's time for the Marty and Mr. Bill Show.
Mr. Bill, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing fine, man. After that great Thanksgiving feast, I'm still recovering. How about you?
Oh, I'm telling you what, man. I feel like a fucking hog, man. I really do.
Hey, I put it away, man. I ate a lot of pastry, a lot of pies and stuff. You know, it was kind of a pie thing.
That's just it. You always go for those desserts you don't ever see all year long.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help that the store had them on sale over there, 2 for 1. You know, it's like shit. You know, I bought like 4 pies, man. Ate them all myself.
All by myself, man.
All by myself. Yeah. And I tell you what, man, my stomach suffered.
Your stomach suffered. I'm sure it did, man.
Oh, man,
everybody's stomach suffered, and everybody's toilet suffers on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, plumber's best friend is a turkey.
It's the holiday. Yeah,
fucking turkey, man. Plumber's best friend, man.
But here me and Mr. Bill are again, and as everyone knows, we end up talking about some really off-the-wall stuff, and we got into somehow, underneath the influence of marijuana, we got into a discussion of the golden age of porn, or porno chic is what they used to call it.
There was a dude named the Sheik that was a porn dude, man.
Oh, okay. There was the
He also doubled for a KKK motherfucker because he wore like the sheet over his fucking head. Sorry, man, I got to take it away.
But because of the original influence with Andy Warhol, man, the period between 1969 and 1984 was considered the golden age of porn, or porno chic, you know. And it started off in a commercial American pornography.
Golden age of porn, huh?
They considered that the golden age of porn, and that's pretty much the age that me and you would pretty well experience, man. And for me, it was basic. It was basically
golden showers, man.
Yeah, it was the age of wink.
The golden showers, the age of golden showers of porn.
Yeah, for me, it was the age of winky yanky, you know.
Yeah, wake and bakey, master bakey.
There you go.
You all do it, motherfuckers. Don't lie.
Some of us old guys still do it.
That's medicinal, man, when it has to happen sometimes, you know. Keep the plumbing right.
The whole aspect of porn changed, man, because before that, man, porn was kind of a taboo thing and stuff, and it wasn't
it was
something that you would only see in like brothels and men clubs and shit like that, you know.
Well, it isn't that way anymore.
You never see it in mainstream media and stuff, but starting in 1969, Andy Warhol, who was actually a really goofy dude, that had strange dude, had a real weird outlook on everything. But
looked like he had 4 ounces of blood left in his whole body.
Yeah, he looked like it.
The bitch was albino as hell, man.
In 1969, he released a movie called Blue Movie. Blue Movie.
Never heard of it. I should have known, but never heard of it.
And you should. I know I should have known it. But then in 1970, he released a film called Mona that was produced by Bill Osco. But those 2 films were the first erotic films that were actually contained explicit sex. And they're the first ones to receive a wide theatrical release in the USA.
Huh.
Now,
hey, what about Caligula, man? Did you run into that?
I didn't run into Caligula. No, that wasn't included in the basics.
I know, man. I just thought of it. You know, it's kind of weird because that was like the no holds barred porn thing, man. That motherfucker was Caligulizing in everybody, anything he could get, kids, boys, dogs, man, women, didn't matter.
When you get into that,
come on, wherever you are.
The golden age of porn, which was actually that was part of it. Gay porn came into it, but and we will actually cover a couple of that probably.
Well, you know me, man. You know me, man.
And okay, like I said, in '70 they came out with the Mona, which is also an Andy Warhol film,
Mona.
and it actually received wide theatrical release in the United States. But they both influenced the making of such movies as Deep Throat, starring Linda Lovelace. Everyone knows who she is.
Yes, they do. There's a lot of story with that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of story behind that, man. And there's a lot of controversy in this or that. Nobody really understood it.
Well, the thing is, man, it was kind of became knowledge after the fact that she did all that shit under with a gun being pointed at her almost.
That's her claim.
That's what she said, man.
That was her claim to it.
I didn't know maybe the gun was Harry Reams's dick. For those of you that don't know Harry Reams was the guy that played the doctor, and the theory behind Deep Throat was a simple theory that her clitoris, whatever, was in her throat, and that's and it took Harry Reams and his long reamage of dick to get to that point where he was able to stimulate her clit, and she had the ultimate gas, and up from that point on, she just loved to blow the weenie, and the bigger, the longer.
Well, I figured, man, at that time, if you'd been into porn, they could have got Mr. Bill Holmes there to fucking participate in.
Hey, man, I tell you what, there was a time. Now, I don't like to profess that I have porno knowledge unsurpassed, but there was a time back in the 70s when I seriously considered pornogating my body, simply because it was, but they didn't have a lens that was a long enough angle lens, man. That's what they told me.
It's true. It kind of cut down on the actual effect, but they figured they couldn't get the whole thing in the frame.
I know, man. They said they couldn't film me they couldn't film me from Indiana to Michigan.
Yeah, they couldn't do any close-up shots of you.
That's right, man. Everything was far away stills, and they were going to call it Moby's dick.
And I think all our viewers know that you're actually elaborating a little bit on it.
Yeah, maybe in a centimeter or two, but it's
But in that period of time, though, when Deep Throat came out with Linda Lovelace, they also came out with Behind the Green Door, starring Marilyn Chambers.
Yes, they did.
Which was directed by, who that was?
The Mitchell brothers.
Mitchell brothers, yeah. They were really famous in that period of time.
And they had some quirks like a motherfucker. They used to, when they got nervous, and they got nervous a lot, they always wore derbies, or not derbies, but like the flat, like those flat hat heads, the pancake hats and shit. But they'd call everybody Bob. Each one of them call each other Bob. Their dad was Bob. You walked in there, they'd be like, "Hey, Bob." I walk in, "Hey, Bob." It was some kind of a coping mechanism that they had, and they were serious into cocaine usage as well.
And actually, that period of time, they all were,
Well, this
that
is true.
that was almost part of the business, man.
As a matter of fact, one of the brothers, Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez played them in the movie, but one of the brothers went over and murdered the other one. I think Emilio murdered Charlie.
I remember we talked about that. I can't really state that as a fact who killed who, but I have heard something about that. One of them killed the other, and I'm not really sure which one it was. But now if we got.
Well, and something should be said about this, though, too. The Behind the Green Door was done for about, I just read this a little bit ago, and it was like $50,000, I think. And the movie did like $50 million, and the Mafia took it away from the Mitchell brothers.
Well, I believe that, man. And actually, that's the point, man. A lot of this stuff, there were actually low-budget films, but even like The Devil and Miss Jones, which was actually a low-budget film. It was a lower-budget film than Deep Throat, and it actually produced almost more money than the Deep Throat. But The Devil and Miss Jones, and
that was a funny movie.
That was the same. It was directed by the same guy that directed The Green Door.
Okay. Now, for those that don't know that, the way the movie was set up was kind of cool. I mean, they redid it a couple times, I think, too, but.
That also was the first interracial porn that was made.
Well, it was definitely interracial porn in there. I don't know if it was the first, but if you got it on, saying it is, man.
It was the first, man.
Okay.
I actually
well, the concept of the movie was there was a bunch of porn stars but they weren't calling themselves porn stars. It was, back in the day, we might as well explain too, a lot of people, if they don't know, there was actually a plot in the movie. It wasn't like the dude just walked in and the lady didn't have enough money for the pizza, so she gave the guy head. It wasn't
Yeah,
like that. There was actually a fucking storyline.
Yeah, they actually
and not as much graphic nudity and explicit and like camera 2 inches away from the butthole and stuff. I mean, no, there was a little bit more taste, I would call it, in the sense of they kept a lot more to your imagination and they had a storyline. And what happened with The Devil and Miss Jones was they were doing interviews talking about her because she had slit her wrist in the bathtub. And what had to happen was, I can't remember, but I think it was a chance for her to redeem her soul. But the only way she could know hell, as they said it, was to go through hell. So this one black dude, funny dude, man. He wore Visqueen on him the whole time of the movie, man, for like a splatter screen and shit. And then it started out, I remember it was hilarious, man. This guy rode up on this girl and he was having sex with her, and told the guy he had to take off and be the guy to take her through hell, and told the other guy, said, would you stay here and fuck my horse? So, there was a sex scene there, and then they went through it. And as I remember, it was like Ron Jeremy was in there and everything, and his torture in hell was that he was 2 inches away from the girl but couldn't get her. That was terrible, man. He's over there like a fucking maniac masturbating and shit, he was pissed, man.
And he wasn't allowed to come or something.
No, he was you get almost to that point, man, but he wasn't ever. I don't remember if they slapped him or whatever. And then there was, all of the different things of hell you didn't want. Like a girl didn't want to be with somebody, and there'd be like 40 people that would do her, or somebody that wanted to be with 40 people, and they'd be just out of range. But in the end, you survived the splatter screen. Then she got to come back to life, and that's basically how the movie was. But I mean, it was a lot more involved. You had, 7, 8, 9, 10 sex scenes during it, but there was a storyline for each one, sort of.
Well, see, actually, in that time, that was 1973 when they did The Devil and Miss Jones.
Well, they remade it. That's the one I watched.
That's when that was the whole thing. But in '76. They did one that was called The Opening of Misty Beethoven, and it was Radley Mesker was the director.
I've never seen that.
But it was written, the story itself was written by a guy that was considered by an award-winning author, Tony Bentley. And Tony Bentley was a very fucking big author back then, and they considered him the crown jewel of the golden age. That show, The Opening of Misty Beethoven, was considered the crown jewel of the golden age of porn.
It's funny, man. Anytime you say a name and associate to porn, you figure it's a pseudonym. Like when he was talking about Harry Bentley or something, I was thinking, well, why do you call himself like Harry Bentdick or Bentadick or something,
Well, because his name wasn't Benedict. His name was Bentley. That's why he didn't call himself.
It's probably his real fucking names, but like,
Yeah, it is. He was a professional director or something, man. He wasn't going to be known as Dr. Long Dong, the director.
Well, it's like now, man, they have dudes like called Penis Dolores. That's his name, man.
But he's not the director of the film.
It's like they said in one episode of Anger Management, Penis De Laurentiis.
But actually, now Deep Throat, it became more popular, mainly because it was mentioned by Johnny Carson on his TV show, and also Bob Hope on their TV show. They actually mentioned and actually created it made it so it would achieve major box office success because of those two endorsements by two major figures.
Those two old motherfuckers, though. I mean, I see Bob Hope, man. He'd be like, "Thanks for the memories." He's like fucking 300 years old, probably then, But
I'm 73.
Playing with his one iron. But Carson probably just go home and say, "Hey, what was his wife's name? Jeannie or something?" He'd be like, "That's how you do it, bitch."
but the still low budget film. It was a very low budget film. The Devil and Miss Jones was not a high budget film, but it was the 7th most successful film of that year. and it received major media coverage because of a favorable review. Now get this, by Roger Ebert.
Now that amazes me, man. That's like two dicks up, you know?
Dicks up.
Two dicks up, motherfucker. Mine's little and fat, but it's up there, you know? Well, it's probably, man, you know, you never know. Sometimes you wonder, like, did those dudes, you know, maybe they had, I don't know, maybe they had somebody in the movie, maybe they had some money tied up in it or something that's to their advantage to build it up. You never know, man. It could be the weird shit. Like,
well, at that time, it was actually it got the name of porno chic from a or what do you would call a columnist in the fucking in the New York Times, Ralph.
hey, man, I think back in the day there was a dude called the Porno Sheik. It's from
Well,
Arabia and shit, where a sheet over his head and shit, doubled as a KKK dude.
I don't think his name was the Porno Sheik. I think he was Sheik, the Sheik.
It'd be a good name for the Porno Sheik, though. That'd be a good one, man. If I was younger, I might go out as the Porno Sheik.
But that right there, you know, it was amazed me that the fact that the New York Times actually was involved in the upcoming of the golden age of porn, man. I mean, that's kind of big, actually, man.
It is, man.
But,
everybody's got some porn in their closet, man. You know,
Yeah,
even the ones that say, "Oh, it's so dirty," they're just being sneaky in their motherfucking house and looking at the shit when nobody's around, man, and then delete it real quick. And
but here's
I wish I had that shit when I was a kid, man. That'd have been a lot more structured.
Okay.
Didn't have porn, man. Well, they had porn, but it was hard to get, man. Now it's like 3 clicks on the internet, boom, there it is.
But
I
here's
would
a
have
very
killed for that when I was a kid.
In fact, that most people don't realize is back in the day, during they also the blue movie, according to Warhol, was a major influence because he also made a movie called The Last Tango in Paris, which was an erotic film. But get this, starred Marlon Brando.
Yeah. Later on in life, man, it was called a Evening in Paris, starred Paris Hilton.
That was another thing.
It's also an Evening in China, man, with that wrestling bitch.
Yeah, that's right, man. And, but later in 1971, now the story of Mona, it was based on the fact that she had promised her mother she would remain a virgin until her impending marriage, you know. And but in December of 1971, they came out with a story called The Boys in the Sand, which was actually kind of the first gay porn film there was, you know.
I can honestly say I don't know anything about that.
I have no idea. Me and you never, I'm sure we didn't really watch that one.
No, I was out of the loop in the gay pornage there, and I did not do any research about it. I'm anti-gay porn. I mean, and I really, to be honest, I'm anti-lesbian porn too, not just gay dudes, guys and stuff. I think it's a waste, man. It's 2 women that could be doing me.
Well, yeah, and well, it's like so in the golden age of porn, man. Deep Throat was officially premiered at the World Theater in New York City on June 12th, 1972. And it was advertised in the New York Times, which it was actually titled Throat. Then Johnny Carson talked about the film nationally top-rated on his top-rated show, and Bob Hope did, and that's what brought it box office success. It was advertised for all these major outlets, man, and these 2 major stars pretty much promoted it, man, and that's what gave that its takeoff, you know.
And that's something.
You know,
Johnny Carson, porno guy. I mean, Bob Hope, I could see that too, man. You know, that's the thing though. They never want to be upfront about it. I'm surprised Carson did that shit though, man, because that had to have a lasting deleterious kind of effect for him in a way, because. You know, here he is, a family dude, 11:30 at night, everybody watching him before they go to bed and shit, and he talking about Linda Lovelace going down on his wang and shit. I mean, I think it'd be cool. I mean, he'd get ratings from our kind of friends and shit, but I would think that he probably pissed off some people.
Well, I mean, and then the time when they released it, though, and then it was virtually banned across the country for half a year, you know, because of some case called Miller versus California. somebody bitched about the porn, but it was described that the Devil Miss Jones and was described along with the film Deep Throat as one of the 2 best erotic motion pictures ever made by William Franklin. He called the Devil Miss Jones a great film, partly because it was one of the few adult erotic films with a proper storyline.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of them. That was the thing I hated about it. I mean, the storyline was okay and everything, but man, you look at them. I think we figured it out finally. You look at them not because you want to see a courtship of these people. You want to see this dude fucking this broad, man.
Well, yeah, I wasn't into a story at that point, and
So now it's like the pizza thing. Like, come in, oh man, the pizza's $5. You only have 3. We could work something out, and you get that bow, chicka, bow, bow, and next thing you know, she's blowing his ween, man. And I kind of like that, to be honest. But as far as, I mean, there's a lot of movies in that genre, like what was it? New Wave Hookers, man. That was kind of cutting edge. That had Ginger Lynn in it and shit, and made by the Dark Brothers.
Now Ginger Lynn, and I believe the Dark Brothers and Ginger Lynn. I mean, didn't the Dark Brothers come in around the 80s, man?
Early 80s.
Early 80s, man.
84, 85, yeah.
They caught the end of the golden era, Yep. But
that last drop.
Last drop. They caught the last drop. Yeah.
Last drop of the golden urine.
But I mean, that was pretty much, when the New York Times described the phenomenon of porn as porno chic, that kind of made a takeoff, on a lot of the shit.
See,
it took away the nastiness of it,
Yeah, well, see, there's a lot of people that were classy. I mean, that are still out there today. I mean, some of them are gone. You got John Holmes. I mean, he was involved in the Mulholland murders and stuff. Not directly, but he was either there or seen it or whatever. I mean, he managed to get out of it, but then he ended up dying from gay porn movies he did. And then you got Seika. You just changed your thing site. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Seika was really big in the day, and there's quite a few. Ron Jeremy, Steve Powers, Tom Byron. I mean, these guys are still out there today. I mean, they ain't doing much, man. It's like the Granny and Miss overdone whole. I mean, there ain't much left, But, the man who used to fuck. They could do movies like that. You did it again. There you go.
Well, I guess they won't leave me alone. I mean, I don't know how to shut that off, And it's
it's all
pissing me
right.
off.
Just takes a second. But the you got all there was some crossover guys that did girls and guys that were able to cross over into mainstream movies and such. One that comes to mind was Tracy Lords. And she was underage doing the porn. Nobody knew.
Well, no, she was only underage during the first part of her career. The first movie she made, the only movie she was underage yet.
17 or something like that, I think.
She was 17 years old, and they caught that later on.
Now,
and actually, that became a big court case, and actually Marilyn Chambers was one of the people that actually witnessed in that case against her age.
Yeah, I think it was called Inside Tracy or something. I mean, I don't really remember, but it was, she was definitely, she liked it though. It wasn't like she's being forced to gunpoint like Lovelace or anything. But when she crossed over into mainstream, she did some scare movies for a while, but then she actually got a part on Boston Legal and other movies since then, I think. But she crossed across pretty good. And then there's Ron Jeremy, the old hedgehog. That's what they used to call him, because that motherfucker got more hair on him than the Hair Club for Men. And he's done some mainstream movies. He's done some comedy movies. We watched one called The One-Eyed Monster.
Son of a bitch.
That's all right. For you people that are watching this, his telephone is causing a differential when someone calls in, and he's actually broadcasting.
And for some reason today, I'm an extremely frickin' fucking popular person, man.
Hey, well, you're always popular, man, but it's all right.
it's really pissing me off, man. Because I don't. I mean, I love people, but I don't care to talk to someone when I'm doing a podcast.
Nope, not
I have,
necessary.
but let's get this back on this track,
All
man.
right, man.
Back
Sorry.
at
You know me.
and but that court decision of Miller in California. Now that actually, you know, it reduced the exposition of the erotic films, and it pretty much often led it to be banned outright, so they could show the shit in like fucking theaters and stuff like that, you know. But it didn't regain its prominent status until the emergence of the internet in the 1990s. That's when it really came back strong.
Well, yeah, man, because they could get it to your house with 2 or 3 clicks. You know, it's
Right, you know.
and it also at that time, man, it also changed and became less theme oriented and more graphic depiction.
Right, you know. But now,
Which we all wanted anyway, when you get right down to it. You know, I mean, there was dudes like the Max Hardcore, which his real name, oddly enough, is Paul Little, and he ended up Tampa. Tampa busted his ass for some kind of porn violation of sending shit through the mail or something. I don't know, man. Whatever it was, motherfucker got 46 months or some shit out of it, man. And even had the girls that were in the movie that it was in question. They came over there. They told him, "He says, no, we're just acting." I said, "He's, you know, it's not a pain thing. I mean, you know, we might portray that maybe or this, that, or the other, but it's virtual. It's not real." And they still burned his ass. 46 months he got out of that.
well, you know, back in the during the golden age of porn, there was actually the feminists actually criticized porn. They made a
It
really
was
big
misogynistic.
it the but there were actually, well, the radical and cultural feminists were against, and along with the religious and conservative groups, attacked pornography. But there was also feminists that were pro-pornography, such as Camille Pagula. She defined that what came to be known as sex-positive feminism in her work. She actually, you know, had a sexual persona. You know,
Her name sounded like you said Camille Caligula.
Camille Paglia is her name.
I know,
Paglia.
man, but it would have been cool if her name was fucking Caligula.
But that endorsement by these actual feminists and shit was actually extensive to the credibility of that brief era of porno chic. You know, that's what really kept it going. You know, is because there were actual feminists out there that promoted fucking porn. You know, which was really weird. You know, because the feminists, and a lot of them thought it was exploitation of the women, but in all reality, the women themselves in that area were paid much more than the men.
Hey, man, I tell you, it's giving me an idea, man. We start the WFA, the World Fucking Association, man, and we have dudes like the Porno Chic, the Porno Ninja, Porno Tarzan. Could be kind of a cool concept, you know.
We could set up a ring and have live porno shows, man.
Yeah, like we get Rey Mysterio to do like 75 flips and his dick lands perfect right in the bitch. That would be kind of cool.
But I mean, I believe that. I mean, porn has its place. You know,
yes.
I don't believe restricting porn is actually a viable thing. I think it should be actually based as much on the freedom of expression as anything else. You know,
It is, and there are some porno people that have capitalized. Like I said, Seika, when she was doing it, even the 70s, 80s, she had like 20 or 30 adult bookstores. Granted, it's still in that genre, but she turned it into a business, and she still to this day is making money. And then there's Jenna Jameson, who's married to that mixed martial arts dude. I think they got a divorce, but it was Taurus, whatever his name was. I can't think of his first name, but he.
You also got a lot of the big time porno stars branched off from that point to become actual mainstream actors.
Some of them, Jamie Gillis. I mean, but they didn't.
Gillis, Tracy Lords, man, fucking. There's quite a few of them actually, and even Ron Jeremy. He held parts in a lot of major movies.
Yeah, he has, man.
You
I
know,
mean,
and he's been and he's actually appeared even on a video, music videos. He's appeared on music
oh,
videos
he's
as a background person.
yeah, he's his face is known, man. I mean, he's just one of the most known dudes, and he's a smart guy. He's not stupid.
You know, but we can actually. I mean, there's probably
But we
you
can go on
know
about this forever,
as,
man. But
as
why?
many films as they've done. We could make this podcast last for another 2 hours, but
Yeah,
I
no
want to
point.
I want to kind of back off it, man. So because we don't want to make it too long, and you know, I do want to encourage people to put comments and leave their advice and their opinions and stuff. And I mean, we would love to hear from you, no matter if it's negative or not. It doesn't matter to us,
This is
you know.
true, man, and I actually subscribed myself to see what the process was about, man. All you got to do is put in a Gmail account, hit send, and it's done, man. It's that simple.
And
Take you a minute of your life, and then it will come to your cell phone or your computer anytime we put a podcast up. It's that easy.
and for our own personal satisfaction, it would be great if you punched that like button and showed us that you liked us. You know, I mean
Yeah.
that would be great, that we could see that these people, that you actually liked what we had to say.
And by the
And
same token, you subscribe, you hated us, you could comment and tell us so. We'll tell you don't
punch,
look anymore if you hate us, but
punch the thumb down button if you didn't like us, but subscribe anyhow.
that's right.
You know,
I mean, if this one will get a lot of likes or dislikes, because everybody thinks that, ooh, porn, but 99% of you people like it. You just don't want everybody to know you like it.
now, and I'd like to put a little bit of a hit and quit it out there on the how proud we are that Big Daddy Trump pulled this off. You know,
Yes, we are. I hate to think we got to put porno and Big Daddy on the same podcast, though.
well,
I feel bad about that.
well, because who else could be that philanderer? Big Daddy could have all the audience he wants, man. If he wanted to be a Charlie Sheen, he could have been one.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Yeah,
But
that's true.
luckily he didn't go that way. But I want us to, when we got to keep supporting him, even though some of the things he seems to be doing seems to be a little shady. You know, I'm a little
I wouldn't say
concerned.
shady. I'd just say he hasn't quite figured
Well,
out what he's going to do yet. So everything still has a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe not, But
he's
Giuliani is the Secretary of State, though.
he's approaching things differently than any other politician we ever seen. He's
Yes, he
trying to
is.
appointing people into his circle that were not politicians. They are actually wealthy people in business.
That's
People
right.
that have been extremely successful in business. So he's going a completely different route than any politician's ever gone before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's a chance, and I like to say a positive chance, that this is going to create a better country for us and a richer country that we're all going to benefit from.
Uh-huh.
All the way down to the bottom line. So I need to stick with the support I have for Big Daddy, even though you guys are seeing him put these people in there that have no political standing. Give the guy a chance, because there's a possibility that there's a good reason for this.
Yes, there is. He's got a lot going on that he's not letting everybody know. That was his thing. It wasn't because he didn't have a plan. He's brought some stuff out, and it was really serious stuff, tax breaks and things. And even if he stole the playbook from Reagan and just redid it, that would work.
And Reagan had some good ideas, and the Reaganomics was actually something that really helped us a lot. And it was another part of what Clinton actually fucking fed his whole whatever you call it, man, his whole time as president. He actually wrote on that whole thing. Clinton never did nothing,
Nothing
He
right.
wrote on somebody else's administration his entire time he was in office.
Yes, he did.
And I want to go ahead, and I'm going to let Mr. Bill take us out of this, because I obviously have about 15 messages I have to return.
And we also want to mention the fact that Julian Assange has been missing for almost a month and a half or so, since the 17th of October.
And nobody, and WikiLeaks himself is not saying he's dead, but WikiLeaks will not provide a proof of life.
We just wonder
Nope.
if this is number 47 for the Clintons.
Yeah, this might be another Clinton thing. And actually, in all reality, this last year during the election, when Assange was putting out all this bullshit on everybody, including Obama, Obama actually ordered a kill order on him.
You sure of that, though, right?
That he wanted him captured, dead or alive. He did not care how.
You sure of that, though, right? Because we don't want him to put a kill order on us for wrong.
Let's go ahead and say that that's my opinion and what I have researched and found.
Okay.
You know, I may be wrong, but if I'm wrong, it's only because of information that I obtained through research.
Okay. You're pretty good about your research, though.
So I mean, I researched the situation, and that's what I found. And my sources may not have been correct, but I actually believe they were, because he slammed Obama too, and Obama probably didn't want any more shit coming out on his ass. You know,
this could be very true.
Plus, he was trying to support Hillary, and Julian was trying to hang Hillary.
Yeah, and it was just basically a black ops extraction. Nobody knows who took credit for it. Nobody took credit for it. That's the thing. So,
according to my sources, that there was a black ops raid on the embassy that he was in, and somebody was removed with a hood. They couldn't identify the person that was removed, and Julian Assange came up missing at the same time. And according to my sources, he's got a cat. It's his beloved cat. He calls Embassy Cat. He's never gone anywhere without that cat, and that cat's still there, and he's not. You know, so that take it as you will yourself. I believe this is probably another Clinton hit. You know,
could be.
And I mean, that's the only way I can see it myself, and I might be wrong, but it's my opinion. It's not even Mr. Bill's opinion. It's my opinion. If the government wants to come after somebody, come after me. I'm good for that. You know, I'm good with it. Put me in a federal penitentiary or something where I get pool tables and swimming pools and, you know, gourmet food and a nice living room to live in. Like
told you though, man, we ain't gonna get the Martha Stewart suite. We're gonna get hole in the fucking wall somewhere and get fed loaf of bread a week and some water, man.
Yeah, I know it's gonna suck, man. Because I'm a bitch too when they do that to me. I say, wait, what about? I want to stay in the room that Martha Stewart had.
That's right, man. Sweet.
But let's let this fade out. I'll let Mr. Bill walk us out, and thank you for your time. And we hope that you like us and you subscribe and leave all your comments. You know, because it'll really help us with our podcast if we have your input.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I say, we're not trying to be the professionals. We just want to have fun, talk, and maybe educate, and just share some stories and just have fun.
Cover things that might be relevant to you. You know.
Yeah.
Because everything's relative to us. Because we believe that the more that we know about anything is better for us. But even if it's something completely menial, we like to have that information. We are people of knowledge, and and our whole life has been based on knowledge and experiences.
This is true. I love to have as much Ein in my Stein as possible.
There you go, man. But with that, I'll let you go, and I'll say goodbye. Mr. Bill will walk himself out of this, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.
All right, everybody. We may get something up before Christmas, and hopefully if we do, then you watch it too. Otherwise, we will talk to you on the next go-around. See ya.